What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast. So let's get into some rapid fire news because there's a clip at the end that I want to show you. Here, there's a bill AB 2098 that will become law on January 1st, 2023 in California, where effectively will deny all physicians in that state the right to publicly share their medical opinions under the threat of suspension of their license to practice medicine. So essentially, if you're contradicting what the state is saying, you can be under threat of suspension. And Jordan Peterson says, expect much more of this. Senior physicians will be unable to tell you the truth. This is happening with all professional colleges and regulatory boards. This is part of why, when you get into these roles now, you have hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, right? Most people come out with that and they want to pay it off. And by wanting to pay it off, they'll do whatever they have to in order to stick with their job and get paid to, pay those loans off. So in essence a trap where where you can't say anything because of your opinion because you don't want to get silenced or suspended without pay. So it's an interesting dynamic going on there. You see a chart prime age populations from 25 to 64 in US, Europe, Japan, and China um, make up about 70% of the global consumption. The prime age population in these major regions has started to decline and won't rise again for many decades. This is the biggest driver of demand destruction. Here we see Cuban rations for a month per person. This is the effects of socialism. People don't understand it. They think, oh, we all want to have the exact same thing, equality for all. Little do they realize when this is the nature of their food supply, then they're going to wish they had a capitalistic society in which we live in the U.S. Um, 1 month, this won't last for a month. Can you imagine all those people who complain about capitalism and about the U.S.? Well, let's send them to Cuba. Let's see how they can survive on this in 1 month and see if they like it. I mean, utter ignorance, folks, from people. Utter ignorance. The construction of single family homes is decreasing. Construction, sorry, of single family homes is decreasing, whereas multifamily homes is increasing. So you see that it's going down. It's in minus 5.4%, as opposed to multifamilies up 23%. So, World Economic Forum. This is what they stated in one of their gatherings.
We cannot hide away from human population growth because, it underlies so many of the other problems. All these things we talk about wouldn't be a problem if there was the size of population that there was 500 years ago.
Which approximately was 460 million based on this tweet here. But folks, I mean, if everyone's crowded into cities, of course, yeah, it's going to be noticeable. But there's so much empty land that's not being occupied that people can spread out into and grow their own garden. But they don't. So, I mean, folks, it's all fitting into the grand scheme of things. Here we see the cold has gone from the Pacific Northwest, now heading down to the Midwest area where Colorado is getting a front cold wind with sub-zero high temperatures and wind chills of 50 degrees below zero. And I mean, you can tell here. So there's this cold spell that's moving throughout all of North America. Household heating bills in the U.S. are set to increase 30% this winter per Bloomberg. Well, I mean, yeah, if you take away all our oil and shut down our pipelines, well, of course, you don't have the same amount of supply of commodities or of that resource coming in. So keep an eye out on that. Foreclosure filings have increased 167% from last year, nearly reaching pre-pandemic levels per real estate data firm Atom. The companies, I thought this was interesting because there's a law of companies that are dispersed. Like, for example, you'll go to the store and you'll see all these different food brands, but essentially they're all part of the same. They're owned by one gigantic company. They're just partitioned into separate entities to give you the illusion that you're buying from someone different. So make sure you know who you're buying from. But if you want to go ahead and pause the video, you can zoom in, and if you can even zoom in and see it. But anyway, the housing market decline and the bond market are going to force the Fed into a position where they have to stop raising rates soon and probably lower rates in 23, because home sales had plummeted 70% in November for the 10th straight month, and about 35% across the board in 2022. I will save that video for last. Billionaire investor Stanley Druckenmiller said this on the Fed's policy. And who really lost? Poor people in the U.S. ravaged by inflation. The middle class is who lost. My guess is the U.S. economy for years to come. So what's happened in the last 2-3 years is going to have long-term consequences. Now, for the video of interest, please watch, because the lockdowns that served for the pandemic was a model for what's coming for the climate lockdowns. Whether you believe it or not, I think the future will definitely see to it that this may be the case.
Bewältigung des Klimawandels seien Maßnahmen nötig, so, und dann jetzt wörtlich, die analog zu den Einschränkungen der persönlichen Freiheit in der Pandemiebekämpfung seien. Wie haben Sie das denn gemeint?
Also ich kann ja jetzt beispielsweise weniger reisen, weil
Travel
also
restrictions.
die Reisebegrenzungen notwendig sind, damit wir nicht das Virus von einer Region, wo hohe Prävalenz ist, in eine andere Region übertragen. Ich muss auf viele Dinge verzichten, die ich gerne machen würde, weil es schädlich wäre für die öffentliche Gesundheit. Ich glaube, dass wir bestimmte Beschränkungen akzeptieren müssen, wollen wir den Klimawandel beherrschen. Dazu wird zum Beispiel gehören, dass wir nicht so viel reisen, wie jeder reisen könnte. Ich würde es übrigens auch noch nicht mal für ausgeschlossen halten, dass wir in der Klimakrise in eine Situation kommen, wo wir das eine oder andere tatsächlich sogar verbieten müssen.
Aber das ist doch genau das, was manche Kritiker jetzt befürchten, dass die Einschränkungen in der Corona-Pandemie benutzt werden als Blaupause für sowas, ich sage es in Anführungszeichen, wie eine Klimadiktatur.
Ja, aber das sind doch Verschwörungstheorien.
Wieso? Sie haben doch gerade erzählt, dass die Corona-Maßnahmen Vorbild sein sollen und müssen für die noch viel größere Klimakatastrophe.
Huh. So, you said those are conspiracies, but then the guy just said, well, you're saying that should be used as a model for the climate lockdowns. You just got caught red-handed, folks. That is the plan. So, watch it over again. If you have to play it twice, play it twice. But that's where we stand in today's day and age. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. It's the Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.